Hello you guys, so today we are going to analyze the game played between a Pakistani star Salman Nizamani aka Zinvoker versus the Indian Super GM Vidit Gujrati. There's a clear difference between a Super GM versus an ordinary player. But he got an opportunity to play a Super GM like with Gujarati. So we'll analyze the game that how the Super GM think differently as an ordinary player. So let's straightly dive into it. Salman Nizamani has a white pieces and Vidit Gujrati has a black pieces. So Salman Nizamani opens the game with the e4. We have c5, then c3. That's elephant variation of the Sicilian. Now you can play d5 here and knight f6 here. Both are possible here. With Gujarati chooses knight f6. We have e5 advanced variation. That's how you actually play this. Then we have knight to d5. Then we end d4 and d6. Now you can play many moves here. Knight f3 is most common here and a good approach. But Salman Nizamani took on d6, which is actually not so good, but it's playable. And we have queen takes on d6, and down now we have knight f3, and then we have knight c6. And knight c6 is actually a bit of a mistake. Why? Because you can play c4, and wherever knight moves you can play d5, and you have a solid center, and you can play bishop to e1 castle whenever you want. But but Salman Nizamani chooses a very clear move, and that is knight to a3. And then we have c takes on d4, and then we have c takes on d4. Then we have bishop to g4, and then we have bishop to e2. Standard stuff. E6, and then we have castles, and then we have bishop to e7, and again knight to b5, attacking the queen, and the queen has to move anywhere, and the best square is the one which Vidit Gujrati chooses, and that is queen to d8. And then we have h3, examining that where bishop will go, it will capture or go back. It actually goes back, and then we have bishop to d2, and then we have castles. Then we have rook to c1, and then we have bishop to f6. Then we have knight to e5, and now there can be multiple moves here. You can take here and actually grab some. This is actually a threat here to win a pawn. So with Gujarati takes on e2, we have takes on e2, and now we have knight to, then we have a6, and we have knight takes on c6. But this knight takes on c6 actually blunders its own pawn too. So we have pawn takes and knight back, and then we have bishop takes on d4. Then we have rook takes on c6, and then we have pawn takes on b2. So Vidit Gujrati is up a pawn here. Now we have knight to c4, and knight to c4 actually blocks the way of the rook to go back actually. And let's see how the game goes. We have rook to f6, and we have rook to d1, and rook to d1 is a mistake, because now you can actually attack the rook, and wherever it goes, let's say it goes to let's say it goes to d6, you can move the queen, and then you have bishop to e7. That can be very problematic. So we have queen to d7, rook to d6. Actually they played it, and then we have queen to b5, and the threat of bishop to e7. We have queen to e4, allowing bishop to e7, but with Gujarati not to choose it, he played rook a to c8, and then we have knight back to a3. You still have bishop to e7, but Gujarati doesn't play it. He plays rook f to d8, and then we have rook to b1, and rook to b1 allows a very stunning move, that is rook captures on d6. And with Gujarati just examine that his two rooks will be more powerful than the queen, and he was actually right about it. Then we have rook x takes on b5, pawn takes on b5, then we have knight takes on d5, and then we have rook takes on d5. And actually Vidit Gujrati is actually in a winning seat here, and let's see how he converted the game. We have bishop to e3 and h5, giving some room for the king, and then we have a4, and a4 immediately loses the game because you have rook to c4 to collect the pawn. You are not actually eliminating the pawn. So rook to c4 was played and queen to b1 was played, and after rook takes on a4, Salman Nizamani choked and he plays g3, and g3 just allows the very nasty pin. Not a nasty, very transparent pin. And after rook h to a1, Salman Nizamani resigned. And that's how the game went. Hope you enjoyed the analysis and hope to see you soon all. Have a nice rest of your day.